Hello, YouTube. Well, so I made a video and I deleted a video, and I made a video and I deleted a video, made a video, deleted a video, yada yada yada. Over and over. And the last one I made, I was in a rest area. Where was I? In Florida, down near Lake Park or whatever, down near Tampa, off of 75. Signal was horrendous. So I went to upload the video, and I woke up the next morning because I was like, well, I'll just let it run. Woke up the next morning and it was still uploading. So I killed it and deleted it. And I said, screw it. Anyway, so my numbers. Let me adjust this here. My wonderful numbers, week 34 and week 35 of 2020. That means we've got 16 more weeks in the year left. Week 35, right? 35, 52 minus 35 is 16, 17. You can't add, stupid. Well, I'm in 36 now, but I'm about ready to go home. I'm seriously getting ticked off at these people. But hey, don't let your feelings motivate your need to make money. I don't need to make money. I've made enough this week. So week 34, 44, 88, 80 on 2,442 miles for $1.84 a mile, and week 35, 2040 on 1,362 miles for $1.50 a mile. It's actually more than that because I only drove 953 miles to get that 2040. So I'm a little over $2 a mile last week, but the way my spreadsheet does the format, or the way I run it, running from Tuesday through Monday, it takes some of my drive from that Monday to get to my Monday pickup, which delivered Tuesday, which falls on Tuesday, but that takes off from this week. So it all balances out in the end. I mean, I can pull my report from Truckin' Pro and it'll be a completely different number. One, like week 34 will be lower than $1.84 a mile, and week 35 will be higher than $1.50 a mile, because it pulls it from the trip-wise in a way, depending on what day you put on there, because it's got empty location mileage, pickup location mileage, and delivery location mileage. So depending on how you pull your report will depend on how it spits out the information. So I'm just going to stick with mine and the other one and just look at this one for my numbers, that way I can see. So the other thing is, and I don't need to confuse y'all, but you know, add the 25% to whatever it is, and that's the actual mileage per mile. So yeah. So that being said, week 34 was 6,100 gross, and week 35 was 2,550 gross. Naturally, you have to take off the company cut. So I'm no longer going to spit out what the gross was as far as what I would have done if I worked for myself. One of the things you got to figure in there is you're going to have expenses. This stupid APU is going to make so much racket. You're going to have these expenses that almost add up to, well, they don't almost add up to 20%. They might add to like 10%. Let's see if I can do this better here. Let's try that on for size. Maybe I can dilute some of this noise coming out from the rear over here. I mean, I got to keep it cool in here. I'm down in Florida again. So this week I went to Tennessee for $9.75. I came from Tennessee, 20 miles from my job, to Florida, right down near Tampa, for $3. And Then I took this load up, so that's $39.75, and then this load I'm up in Jacksonville. I grabbed it last night and had to do a split. You Schneider guys can't do that. But I barely made that. I mean, I took 5 hours off because this load didn't pick up till 4:30 p.m. I got there at like 3:15. I don't know. I got there about an hour 15 minutes early, and then the broker called me back. He's like, "Hey man, can we go ahead and dispatch you on this?" I was like, "Dude, I'm already there. I'm getting back, ready to pull into a door now." It's like, "Awesome, yes." So I don't know, man. I don't want to go in too early, but I get there early. So I had to book it. It took about an hour to load me. I had to book it up as close as I could to a rest area. I didn't want to go all the way by the TA in Jacksonville because I didn't know how that rest area was going to be. I knew the TA would be full, but the rest areas usually aren't. So I took the rest area before that. It's a dump, man. That place sucks. It's got like angled spots, and then they're so small. They need to redo that one too. They're so small that if you're not paying attention, it'll rip somebody's front end off or whatever. But I got to Publix at 5. No, well, the delivery was 5:15. I got there at about 4:40 and dropped that load. No lumber fee, none of that, because I'm assuming it's all done without you having to worry about it, depending on what company you're brokered through. So I didn't have to sweat that one, and that was another 5. So you got $39.75 times $44.75, right? So, well, here I said I wasn't going to tell you the gross. That's the actual gross. So take 20% off of that, and that's mine, minus business expenses and whatnot, taxes, maintenance, all that good stuff that you need to be taken out for. All the stuff you need to be taken out for. So now I'm sitting here in Jacksonville, and this broker at, I don't know, one of the brokerage firms posted a load on a board yesterday, and I didn't want it. I wanted a Jacksonville to Savannah that TQL had posted, which is whom I pulled this last load for. The guy never responded back. I don't like that one. The other guy that I spoke with to get the load is actually more communicative than the guy who had the commission on the load, I presume. Because I sent him an email, and I should have called him. I was busy running my mouth on the phone. I said, "Hey man, I'm dropping in Jacksonville, so what's the scoop on this load? Maybe I can hit that when I get done with this one." And he never responded, and then it disappeared by the time, and I was in such a rush to get down to the rest area. I do not like driving that fast. That it was gone. So I got here, and there was another load that popped up again. There was another load I had called on yesterday, and the guy had voicemail, and I probably could have got that load yesterday. But it disappeared too. It was going to Swainsboro or something like that. So it was $600 for 103 miles. I called him yesterday, left a voicemail, got nothing. Popped up again this morning like 10 minutes ago. I called it again. Voicemail. Left the message. And then I called right back. And then the dude answered the phone. "Oh, I'm sorry, we just took care of that load, but I got your number. If anything changes, I'll let you know." Let me tell you something, buddy. If anything changes, I'm probably going to already be at home, okay? Because I'm about ready to go home right now. It's 3 hours to my house. I don't really care. I'm going to take the whole weekend off and say, screw it. And then I'm going to stay out for 3 weeks. And I will go to Ohio. The frustrating thing with this whole Florida deal is I made sure I got enough to come back out. And that's what you need to do, right? So I could have come back out naked, and I had a problem with it, all right? Because it was 660 miles or 670 miles to come down here for 3. It was like $4.50 a mile, right? And that's the reason I did it. they put it at 24, and this is part of the negotiation, okay? So I'm not that good at it, but we got a guy that comes down here a lot, and he will, I don't know how he talks him into that money all the time. Every time he comes down, it's money. Money, money, money. But the rates are crazy right now, right? So that's part of it. So this one was, coming down here was a coyote load. It's the first coyote load I've pulled. And their board is set up to where you take it for this, or you can bid on it. And when you bid on it, they'll do like JB Hunt does. They'll counter, except JB Hunt will counter like a 2% raise. Like if it's a $500 load, they'll counter at $505 if you do. It doesn't matter what number you do, unless it's way past their rate, and then they'll say denied. So Coyote, this is the first time I bid on one of theirs. So I bid on theirs. It was 24. I bid 31. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going down to Florida, this is going to take me, and pickup was Tuesday, right? Delivery was Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days. That's 2,400. I'm looking at 800 a day. That's what I want. It's not what I need. It's what I want. It is what I need, because I raised my minimum, because I'm trying to continue to make a $900 truck payment. I'm not making it, but I'm trying to keep that in my head, because then I can, like, if something does fall, it's no big deal. It's even if it's still no big deal, because I don't need that much. I have a very low cost of living, like I said. So, and that helps out. I mean, if you got a mortgage and a $400 car payment and all this other garbage that people like to stick themselves in, this isn't, you got to clean up some of your debt. I mean, this is just not an easy job sometimes, as far as your money-wise goes in there. If you're not cleaned up, when the crash hits, you're going to be hurting, and you can go out of business. Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. So I'm shooting for 800 a day, right? So I'm like 3,100. That's more than 800 a day. That'll cover 3 days and then some, right? So I'm like, cool, I'll shoot for that. They counter at 27, and my lowest was gonna be 26. So that put me 200 over the 24 I was looking for 3 days. So I'm like, 27. Let's see what they do. So I put 3 out there, and the second I put it out there, this stupid thing, the suction cups aren't sucking. The second I put it out there and dumped the 3 on there, it hadn't had time to go through their system, but one of the brokers called me from there. He said, hey man, look, he said, I seen you put 31 on there, and this needed tanker endorsement, and you got to speak English. It was specifically stated on there, you must speak English. You might have to take a test. No habla inglés. Parlez-vous français? So I'm waiting to see if somebody will give me a load. So I got tanker endorsement. That's only one of the endorsements I had. I never got my hazmat because it just didn't pan out for me. I tried to get it, and I think because I went and got the TWIC at the same time, it fell through the cracks somewhere. Somebody screwed up, and I know TWIC is issued by an independent, and hazmat is issued by the government, but it still has to go through the same people. So I never received an email from the government on the hazmat, and Schneider doesn't pay anything on hazmat, so I decided to not get it because I don't want to deal with the headache of dealing with hazmat. And I digress. I'm sorry, people. But so he called me up and said, I see you got a 31 on here. He said, if you could come down $100, man, I can get you 3 on this. And I'm like, hey, you just spoke the magic number, buddy, because that's what I did on the next bid down. I put it at 3. He's like, okay. He's like, all right, we got a deal. He said, I'll send you the rate con and everything. So so I grabbed that thing for 3, man. It was great. One thing I will say, though, and I was kind of advised against it. I wasn't advised against it, but the hint was, don't do recycled metals. So I made the mistake. I did that once when I was with Schneider as a company driver. They had me go pick some crap up and then go deliver it. And it wasn't nearly as bad as this one was. The first one for the week. So I went and picked up a load at a recycling plant. It was aluminum, scrap aluminum, on pallets. Doesn't sound bad, right? Whatever, 40,000 pounds, who cares? Okay, I'll go get it. So I went down there. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Ever. The dude tried talking me down. I told him, I was like, I want $9.75 for this. He tried talking me down. He said, is that the lowest you would go, man? Because all I got in here is $9.90 or $9. I said, yeah, all I got in here is $9.90. So I'm like, yeah, you're making $15 on this. I'm like, sorry, man. That's the lowest I can go. I can't do nothing lower. He's like, all right, I'll send you the rate con. Yeah. Okay, cool. Send me the rate con. So he sent it to me, and I took that load. But on the way back, so once I got there, I read the reviews of the delivery place. Always check your reviews. Always. It said, you're going to wait in line for 3 to 5 hours, and then you're going to wait 2 to 5 hours to get unloaded. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? So, sure enough, I got there, and there was 4 trucks in line on the side of the road ahead of me. It's a little side road that has a side patch that you're allowed to park on. It's a dead-end street that dead ends into the recycling place, and so on. So, I parked, went up, you got to park and walk to the guard shack. Parked and walked to the guard shack. Oh, you got a CB? Yeah. All right, well, I'll holler at you when we're ready for you. So I get up there, and it took them, literally, I want to say, had it down. I got in there, my appointment was at 10. I got there at 8:30 just because of the reviews. Got in the gate at 10:30, 10:45, got out of there at 1:30, 1:15. I was talking to a broker about a different load that was $12.50. It was a little bit less miles, but it wasn't $4.50 a mile. And I had said, dude, I was sending emails because it was an email address on the load anyway. So I had sent him an email saying, dude, I'm interested in this load, but I'm on a load right now. I'm waiting to get unloaded. He's like, well, how long is that going to take? And I said, well, I'm not sure, but according to my estimates and what it looks like they've been doing, they're taking about an hour to unload trucks, and there's 2 trucks in front of me, and they're taking about, as long as they're taking, it looks like I'll be done around 2:30. And I called that almost right. I was done an hour earlier than that, but the reason it took so long is they had 4 different loads on there. None of them were labeled. The things you run into in this job are ridiculous. And then the aluminum scrap pieces, tiny flipping pieces of aluminum that were all over my floor. I will not be doing that again either. So I still got a couple of tiny pieces back there. I swept the crap out of that trailer. Man, I tell you what, this job, the stuff you do in accounting, it's just insane. So, I'm sorry if there's going to be noise on this video. I'm going to release it anyway when I'm done with it. And here I go rambling for 20 minutes. But the week hasn't been bad. I'm looking for a load going to the house. I don't think I'm going to get one. I actually looked at a truck wash, but I think they're closed in Jacksonville. They won't answer the phone. And I'm not going to drive over there. I might just head to the Blue Beacon and let them do my truck. I want to get this thing clean. Get her nice and shiny for the rain to come. Wash and make it dirty. So, I don't know. That's about all I got. And that's the spot market week 34, 35, and pretty much 36, right? So, if you look at it, for the business, this week, if I don't get anything else, and I'm going to add extra miles to my daggum thing because, if I go home, because, it's 148 miles to my house. Let me see here. So if you look at it, I had to crunch some numbers. If you look at what I've made this week, $35.80 for those 3 loads. Tennessee, Georgia to Tennessee, Tennessee to Florida, Florida to Florida. And if I deadhead home, if I don't get nothing else, I'm looking at, and this includes my deadhead to the house, and I don't plan on coming out till Tuesday unless something pops up. I'll probably stage myself Monday about 30 miles, 25 miles down the road from my house, because that puts me 30 minutes from Fort Wentworth instead of an hour, which I believe will help me out tremendously. Anyway, so if you look at what I did, $35.80 on 1,233 miles, that's $290 a mile. All miles, including deadhead, from here to my house. That's why I'm trying to get a load to Savannah, at least. I mean, that'll help a little bit. It won't really help too much as far as the rate per mile, because I'm not going to get, I don't think I'm going to get, wait a minute, times, no, 290. So I'd have to get 362 a mile to keep my 290 a mile average for the whole way. It would lower my deadhead if I could get a load from here or from, say, Brunswick to Savannah. It will lower the amount of deadhead I drive. Well, not really. No, it won't. You see, if I'd have got that $600 load, I would have been in. That would have added $480 to my total, and it would have added, because it was 72 the pickup and 52, around 52 to my house from Savannah, which was 100 and oh good lord, 122 miles of deadhead plus 103 miles of load, so 228 more miles onto that. So 1233 is 15. I got a calculator right here, man. Why am I using my head like this? Oh good lord. Oh good lord. I know one of y'all is sitting there. It's this, 1,458 miles, right? So 1,458 miles. I'm not even going to speculate on this because I didn't get the load. It doesn't matter. What I could have done, I mean, if I'd have got it, I would have took it, because that would have paid for the fuel coming down here, and it would have paid for the fuel going back home, which isn't a lot. I mean, 150 miles at 25 cents a mile isn't really that much. That's what, $30? Because that's what I've been averaging, $37. Between DEF and diesel, I've been averaging 25 cents a mile. So it fluctuates every week, but it all depends on how heavy I haul. So anyway, I don't know. I got 23 minutes on this video, and I'm just running my mouth about ridiculous nonsense that isn't going to do me any good. So, and as much as I'd like to use our company fuel card, I come down here and I'm getting, it's $2.60, and we get 28 cents off. 261, 260 is what I saw, something like that. So it's $2.32, and I'm paying $2.02. So I'm getting anywhere from 25 to 30 cents larger of a discount. And I know it. If we don't, the less we use it, the less chance we're gonna grow. It'll take longer for it to give a bigger discount, but when it gets closer, I'll end up using that one. I don't mind using mine, so I don't mind at all. I actually finally went up a gear, a TA, whoop-de-doo. So, but anyway, Publix wasn't bad. Publix was actually decent. They got me in and out in an hour. Although there was nightmare stories on the reviews. And I didn't know how Split worked that well, so I've never done a full split. So this is a story on the split for those of you that don't do splits or don't want to do a split because it's confusing. Now, I use the Big Road app to help keep track of my hours and just to see how things work. So I was looking at the split and I was like, I was under the impression that I wasn't going to get anything back because I had 5 hours in the sleeper berth while I was waiting on the time for pickup. And then I went to my pickup, and then I took 8 hours in the sleeper berth at the rest area. So I thought that I was going to get something back there, but what happens there, because of the way it's split, is I only got back what I had left the previous day, right? Which was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 hours. And then I lost an hour driving to the rest of the way to Publix. And then I had 6 hours left. So according to my figures, I would have until noon. And then I can't drive anymore as far as delivering a load. But because the 8-2 split, it actually takes into account the 8 and then the 2, the way it ended up working out. So now I have back all my time except for the time that I used this morning. So I had 8, 11, 14. I'm sorry, 10, 11, 14. You know what I mean, okay? 11, 14, whatever I have left, right? So it took me an hour to get there. Actually, a little over an hour. So I had 9 and some change left, and then 14 minus whatever. So anyway, I got time now to run. I thought I was only going to have till noon, so that really limited my options as far as getting a load. So it kind of confused me as far as I can't even run anything because by the time I get a load, I'm not going to be able to deliver it until tomorrow. Whereas now, I can deliver it today. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to go home. Split is very confusing, and it's not. Once you know how it works, you'll do fine. But it's getting used to knowing how it works. That's the same with recaps. Recaps are a pain in the butt, but once you know what you're doing with them, they're actually fairly easy. It just takes some getting used to. It's kind of like the monotony of making a burger in a burger joint, or dropping fries and then making a certain amount. Once you know how many fit in a thing, you'll know how many you need to make, and so on and so on. Once you know how many people ramble on, man, shut up. All right, anyway, y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.